Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Huge Update Interviews number 12. I'm Alistair Ross McInnes, and this week we are joined by Peter Marsh. Say hello.
Of course. Hi guys.
And our guest this week is Dojo Arcade. Please introduce yourselves.
Hello. I'm Paige. I'm one of the directors at Dojo Arcade.
I'm Toby Johnson. I'm also one of the directors at Dojo.
I'm Ted Thomas. I'm the third director.
Fantastic. So, of course, what are you guys getting up to at the moment? You're making your first game, is that right?
Well, it'll be our first commercially released game, I guess. We've done other, prototypes and things like that haven't really ever gone anywhere. But yeah, so this will be the first release thing that we're...
Fantastic. And it's called Creature Battle Labs, that's right, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, Creature
Fantastic. Tell our listeners what Creature Battle Labs is about in like a couple of sentences.
Okay, so basically it's a creature battling and customizing game. It's got a couple of key elements to it. So first of all, you get to completely customize your creatures. So they start off as a very simple blob, and you get to change the shape and add all different attachments like arms and ears and eyes. Basically make them look however you want. You then kind of give them some skills. There's 64 skills to choose from, and then you get to battle with them in real time, like 3D arenas. So it's not turn-based gameplay, it's all real time on mobile and tablet.
Nice. Sounds awesome. It reminds me a little bit of Robot Wars for the PS2 meets Spore for the PC, with a bit more depth.
Yeah, hopefully a bit more depth. I don't think any of us played either of those games, so I wouldn't really know, but yeah.
You should check them out, they're
similarities with Sport.
quite fun. And how long has this kind of project been in development so far?
We've been developing it for about the last 2.5 years. We've been developing it in collaboration with SOC and the Welsh Government. And we've recently just been successful with a Microsoft Green Shoots funds. So we're now working alongside them, and they're helping fund the project. And we're currently aiming for I think it's a release in mid-May.
Fantastic. So how did Microsoft go into this? You mentioned them, and we couldn't do the interview originally the other day because you were meeting up with them. What do they sort of bring to the table? Is it just financial support? Is it marketing support?
Both marketing and financial. And also they're helping with the back ends of the multiplayer. So they've put us in contact with a technician at Azure, and they're going to be helping us basically integrate GameSparks, which is a back end of a multiplayer, which will help us do all the multiplayer functionality like leaderboards and messaging and everything else.
Nice. So how did the idea develop? Of course, Creature Battle Labs. What was the inspiration? You didn't mention you played Robot Wars or Spore, so what was the kind of key essential bit of media that kind of led you into this idea?
I guess it's a combination of a couple of things. We did a kind of project for a company where they just wanted a prototype for like a creature creation game, I guess, and that was like the core part of it. Just making these weird, like really odd creatures where you kind of combined different animals together. So once we've done that, we were trying to kind of think of ways to kind of turn that into a more fully developed game. And I don't even know how old I was now, but back in the day, I used to play Pokemon Red.
Nice.
And so, yeah, I guess that's quite a big inspiration. And yeah, I don't even know, I can't even really remember where the two ideas merged, but yeah, they did. So just like, we can make these cool creatures, but then what would we do with them? And then just over time, we could battle with them, because we're thinking about all weird science experiments, like mini games, and then I think we just kind of thought that the battling would be a bit more bit more fun and I guess more. What's the word I'm looking for? So it's just more to it than most mobile games. So you sort of have an affinity with your creatures, and you want to kind of train them up and bond with these creatures that you've kind of created yourself, really.
And the fact that you can personalise them as well, rather than usually they just give you set-built creatures. Whereas with this, you can totally make them your own.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, it makes you more attached to those creatures if you put a bit of time and effort actually making them look how you want to.
Definitely, the idea of personalization, that's a really cool concept. How many kind of items and attachments can you do to kind of really customize and make your monster yours?
So there's, I mean, in all the sort of marketing we put, it's 200 plus, but it's actually like just under 300. I think it's like 290 attachments.
Damn.
Then there's 60 shapes. So your creature, like I say, they start off as like a blob, and we use blend shapes to morph the creature from a blob into, say, a square or multiple shapes. But one of the things with the game is you're not defined by one shape or another. You can actually start blending the shapes together. So I think it's like 5 shapes you can actually mix between. So you can get a sphere, you can get a square, and like blend them together to make some in between shape. So yeah, there's 60 of those to choose from, and then there's also like around 30 kind of patterns to apply on the creature, and you can kind of tweak that, make like zebra stripes, for instance. So you can make them really big, really small, move them about just so you can get it just so. So yeah, really there's like an absolute ton of kind of options for players, and we've got like a randomise feature in the game where if someone's really not bothered about making their own creatures, they just go to the randomise area, just kind of randomise all or randomise just certain elements of the creature, and still we haven't really seen any two creature that's the same, just because there is so much variation.
We've also just recently added stat effects to the attachment, so it's not just a visual thing, it's also something that'll aid you during your battle.
It sounds absolutely awesome. Like, it almost, you could spend hours just designing your monster then. Like, the people that spend all their time designing their characters in the Bethesda game, you could do the same essentially by the sound of it with your little monster. Have you experienced or tried almost recreating iconic, monsters or figures, from like media using your software? Like making an Iron Man monster, for example. Have you tried doing that yourselves, or are you hoping this beta you're thinking about releasing, hopefully very soon, will bring about those sort of design choices?
Yeah, I mean, we're really interested to see what other people make. The only one I can think of that I've done in the past, I made a lumpy space princess, and
Nice.
Actually she turned out pretty well. The only thing, she had a triangle on her forehead instead of a star, but apart from that she looked pretty spot on.
That's absolutely awesome.
If you don't know who Lumpy Space Princess is.
I think Ted also made a Sonic at some point.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. So with the attachments, say you added a spike to him, then you could actually technically increase him and make him become a little bit more like Sonic. Is that right? If you increase his speed.
Yeah, I mean, there's leveling up in the game, so yes, you can level up the speed of the creature. You said there's like 64 skills as well, and there is a skill in there that's sprint, so it allows the creature to run a bit faster for a time. So yeah, I guess if people really want to theme their creatures, say like you say, to Sonic, then yeah, I guess they can sort of look into those things as well, like the skills.
I just think it's just really cool that you've made a game where essentially the creative side of it is so in depth. You could make something from another source of media that you love. Also, I'm loving the art style. Of course, it's like a sort of shell shaded sort of style. What was the inspiration behind that?
That was mainly just one that we knew it was going to be on mobile, so it couldn't be high end, and a lot of the things we looked at was just the more kind of of an art style it has to it, as opposed to realism, the more longevity the game will have, and just the graphics won't be outdated after a while. So I think we knew we wanted like a sense of style like that.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Things like that we looked at for reference.
Yes. Yeah. I think some of the Monsters Inc. concept art. I love that stuff anyway.
It's really cool. I'm noticing there's quite a lot of pop culture references, like the Creature Park poster hidden in the background.
Yeah. We don't get sued for it, but
It'd be fine. I'm sure I've seen lots of people kind of use similar reference imagery, and at the end of the day, it's promoting their stuff as well as a really cool graphic that you put in the background.
yeah, I guess with those we just wanted to sort of ground the lab in somewhat of a reality, just sort of it's all in this sort of like underground lab bunker. We just wanted to make it seem like it was this world that these scientists live in.
That's cool. You mentioned quite a lot of context, like scientists and living underground. Is there any elements of storytelling or narrative to the actual game itself, or was it solely focused on the battle elements of things?
Yeah, really, it's just the battling. We sort of discussed the backstory a bit ourselves, but it's not a big element of the game. Perhaps if the game does well, we do a Creature Battle Lab 2, maybe that would be more story focused. But
The creatures escape from the lab and have a little story based around that.
yeah,
Tear up the streets, the slightly more graphic version, not for tablets, more for PCs.
yeah, PG-13 or something.
And how did Dojo Arcade come about for people that don't know? Because it's quite an interesting story, I think, like how you guys came together.
Well, we originally met on our university course, which was a master's course at Glamorgan University, and there was a scheme called the Games Lab, and our tutor at the time, he basically helped kind of form us. We all came from different backgrounds. Me and Phil were actually artists, and Phil's a 2D artist, and I was originally a stop motion artist. And Ted came from a games course, and he was a programmer. And I was self-taught 3D, and Phil, yourself.
Yeah, just self-taught and tutorials online and stuff, basically.
Yeah, and we were working on a game at the time called Soulfinity, which was going to be an absolutely massive game, and we got a lot of great feedback and a lot of good coverage for that game. And then this project came about through S4C, and we had to go with where the money was, really, to make it a business and make it a success. But while we were in university, we also took part in a scheme that they were running at the time called the Future Entrepreneur Awards, and we were really surprised that we actually won the awards, and we were awarded office space at the Sony Pancoid Technology Park. So we've been here for about the last 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so you mentioned about like funding to kind of get the game off the ground. How have you gone about getting funding for the project?
A lot of hard work and boring paperwork.
I mean, like, which was it, like government-based funding, or have you gone private funding, or?
Well, I mean, S4C, it was called the Digital Development Funds, so we applied for that with the game Creature Battle Lab, and they liked the idea, and then we went to the Welsh Government, and they did match funding through the...
That was S4C's one was just called the Digital Fund.
That's right, yeah.
And then the Welsh Government one was the Digital Development Fund, just to make it nice and confusing.
Yeah. And then we also invested some of our own money because we did a prototype called Immune, which was a medical prototype, which was sort of like an endless runner, and you're an antibody traveling through the body, just basically fighting off viruses, and we were awarded some money through the Wellcome Trust scheme. and we invested that money into the project, which was also match funded with the Welsh Government. And then obviously most recently then we've also been funded through the Microsoft Green Shoots Fund.
Hello? Cool. Is everyone there? Okay, I don't know what happened. It's cut out briefly on my end there. So how hard would you say it is to get funding? For people that want to kind of use funding as an option to, make their games, would you recommend going for it? Or would you say that there's other ways of going about getting your game created?
I mean, for us, we wouldn't have been able to do what we're doing now if we didn't have the support. It's been quite hard sort of trying to keep everybody happy and make everything work. Obviously, I think you need to have a bit of a business mind as well to be able to do it. It's not just about making the game. A lot of that's why we've taken so long, is because a lot of our time is taken up through doing like paperwork and having to do the boring side of things. So I think you need to be prepared to be able to do that. It's not all fun and games, but as long as you've got a logical brain and you try and work through things and be aware and have a good plan and a good cash flow and good planning, then go for it.
Awesome. And what's the biggest hurdle that you guys have sort of had to overcome?
We're constantly having hurdles all the time.
Okay, what's the latest hurdle then?
It's like a roller coaster. Well,
I'd say the biggest one was trying to get the extra funding.
Yeah, and then we sort of came up with like a really good plan of how we were going to hire like 2 extra programmers, and we had it all planned out. And then the day that we basically had told everybody, the 2 programmers that we were going to hire, you got the job. The next day we rang up skill set scheme, which is sort of like match. You pay the employee and then you receive 50% of the money back. And the day that I rang them to tell them that we'd hired these 2 people, they told us that the scheme had ceased. And so then we could only afford 1 programmer, and we had to ring up the programmer the next day and basically say, look, we're really, really sorry. We wanted to employ you, and we told you yesterday you had a job, but now today you haven't got a job. I'm sorry. And he took it very well.
We felt pretty crap about that, didn't we?
Yeah, we felt really bad. And there's just lots of things like that have happened all the way along. Like when we were awarded this scheme, for example, we were a partnership before, and we've had to become limited, and we've had to jump through so many hoops to basically make sure we've got all the correct information and everything that they require, so that we're legally covered as a limited company.
All our assets have been sort of legally transferred across from the partnership to the new limited company we've had to make, and
so that's really eaten into our development time, because we've had to do all of these things and try and reorganize things to basically be dynamic and just keep working through it.
Because we are quite a small team, so any one of us that has to go off and do some business related thing, that's someone who's not working on the game for X amount of time. So it's quite tricky to juggle everything, but we're managing it just about.
Yeah, it's not fun and games.
No, we're back on track now.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting, I'll give it that. But not necessarily fun. But
it can be scary at times. I spend some nights just not getting much sleep, to be honest with you.
So how is it for you guys working in Wales? Like, how's the development scene in there? Because it's from an outset, it doesn't seem like it's that. But personally, I know that it's very vibrant over there. So like, how has it been for you guys? Do you get much of a great feedback from the people around you?
I think, to be honest with you, if we weren't where we are now, then I don't think we'd be doing what we're doing. I think we've been really, really lucky, and I'm quite a big believer of being in the right place at the right time, and I feel like we've we've been very lucky being in the right place at the right time and being around the right people. And we've had lots of support. For example, there's a company next to us called Wales Interactive, and they've helped us and we've helped them. And
the two directors from there, they were actually running the Games Lab scheme we mentioned earlier that helped us all get on our master's course. So we know them really well, and you know they've kind of done it for a bit longer than us, especially Di. He's like an industry veteran, so...
Yeah, you guys are talking about Di Banner and Richard Pring, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those guys, they're great. So, you know, if we do have any issues or anything like that, we can just walk across the hallway and shout a little help. And yeah, they usually come and give us some advice or tell us what we're doing wrong.
So it's a nice support network that you kind of have over there in Wales at the moment, really.
Yeah, and you know, one thing to note is from the outside, like you say, it probably doesn't seem, well, it isn't a big industry in Wales, but I think the Welsh Government knows that, and that's why we've had this funding, because they are trying to push for people like us and small companies to make games within Wales. Because I think in the past, they've had companies or teams who have made something in Wales, and if it's kind of had any form of success, then they've buggered off then to England or elsewhere, where generally you see that there's a much bigger sort of games industry. So I think they've realised that now, and they're trying to cultivate and incubate companies within Wales and trying to keep them here.
And going back to sort of Critical Battle Labs as its game concept, is it online completely, or do you have like a single player battling experience? I've been wondering that myself briefly.
It's actually only single player right now. Like Toby mentioned, we are looking into the multiplayer stuff, but that's sort of after release. We might be able to get leaderboards in for release, but that's undecided.
We've got a few steps to multiplayer. So our first step is leaderboards, and then our second step is possibly the sharing of your own created creature through social media, so your friends can download them and play against them. And then we were hoping to do possibly like a real-time multiplayer then after that. But I think that's basically based off how successful this game is on release.
I love the idea of being able to download your friend's monster. Say I'm playing it now, will I be able to have more than one monster saved sort of thing in the memory, or does it only allow me to have one monster at a time?
No, you can have loads. I think it's the maximum you can have is 99. So
Wow.
Yeah, so it's up to you.
That's like a Royal Rumble.
I mean, you should explain about the teams, because I don't think that's something that you've touched on.
Yeah. So within the battles, there's like 3 modes. I guess they're fairly similar, but they do add enough that it does feel quite different. So single, double, and team matches. So the single is just one of your creatures versus an AI opponent, just one creature, and you have 3 rounds of that. And then the other 2 modes are sort of either 2-on-2 and 3-on-3, but you don't fight with 2 creatures at once. It's just 1v1, and at the end of that round, whoever wins stays on, and you go until whoever's kind of lost all their creatures, basically.
That's cool. A little bit like Marvel vs. Capcom style gameplay then.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I've played that like once at friends.
Yeah, similar thing where like one fighter sits, 2 teams of 3, and one fighter gets killed. The next fighter takes their place to try and take on that person.
Yeah. So yeah, it's exactly like that.
Nice. And will the player be able to, again, so these are all 3 customizable monsters that they've created, so they have that attachment to all 3 of them.
Sorry.
Is that right?
Sorry.
Yeah, of course. Sorry. Say it's 3v3. All 3 of these monsters gonna be like customizable. Has the player created their own little team, or is it just the only one that they've done?
No. Every single creature you fight with is your own creation.
That's cool.
You've chosen the skills. You've chosen how it looks. So yeah, every single one it's entirely up to you.
Nice.
One thing we didn't mention as well is with the game, we kind of having this almost like a one-off payment. So we're calling it the Creature Battle Lab Club. So one-off fee. You unlock all of the cosmetic options. That's like all 200 plus attachments, all the shapes, all the patterns. So the only thing you have to earn in-game then is sort of in-game currency to earn new creatures and also to unlock all the different skills.
That's really cool. So how will it generate? Say I'm playing, I've started the game, how many options are going to be available to me?
Well,
like customizable wise?
Well, if you haven't bought anything, it sort of starts you off slow, so you'll only be able to earn like a mouth or two at first. After a few matches, you'll be able to earn a few more attachments. So we got 3 forms of currency in the game, which probably makes it sound more complicated than it is, but it's using DNA. You've got X, Y, and Z DNA. The X DNA allows you to unlock skills and arenas. The Y DNA is to do with all the cosmetic stuff, and the Z DNA is for leveling up your creature.
That's cool. And if I beat, say, an opponent, will I gain a bit of DNA of all 3 of them, or will it be randomized? Or
yes, it's all you earn all 3. So once you win a match, you kind of get DNA. So it's like, say, you get like 1,000 DNA because you've done it in a certain amount of time. You've done it on medium difficulty. So there's all different things that will kind of change the amount of DNA that you earn. Obviously, winning and losing is quite a big factor in that as well. And then that's kind of divvied up into X, Y, and Z.
That's cool. I love a game that involves modifiers. It, of course, encourages replayability. Sorry. Is it like a tournament then? Is there like a number 1 spot of your monster, or will it keep going again and again, or can he be the number 1 monster?
On release, what it's going to be unlocking. You sort of earn the XDNA, unlock the arenas. There's 27 different arenas, and there's like medals with it. So you'll get a medal if you beat it on, easy, medium, and hard. And then you've also got medals for each of the, the difficulties within the different modes. So the single, team, and double modes. But we've all along we've planned what we're calling like the career mode. So that will be more like what you've mentioned, where it'll act a bit like a football league. So it'll be a kind of in-game calendar, and each match, each day will progress, and depending on how well or badly your creatures have done on the last match will determine like how much rest they need. So you might want to have a few creatures so that you can have some resting on a day with some battling. Obviously, the more creatures you have, the more variation you have. So, for instance, your next fight is in an ice arena against an ice creature. So you'll want like another creature that will be good against that. So there's going to be like a little bit of like creature management to it. Then obviously after a set amount of matches, yes, you will either be relegated or promoted to other leagues and divisions. So when we add that in, there will be you are the best of the best in these leagues. But
nice.
Now it's just like a sort of continuous progression, just trying to earn all the medals for each arena.
Be the best you can be. It sounds like there's a fantastic amount of depth and customization in the game. Is it hard then creating a UI that works with that level of content?
Yeah.
And how did you go about kind of solving that issue?
Our whole office is covered in pieces of A4 paper with the UI printed out on each separate part, because we basically mocked them up within Photoshop beforehand, just to sort of get an idea of how everything was laid out. After going to Games Connection in Paris, we had a number of publishers play the game, and they commented on the UI.
That was our second iteration of the UI already, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we decided that we were going to totally redesign it and try and make it more uniform, because our original one was more in the style of the game, so a little bit wacky. But we noticed as well through testing it, like EGX and some other shows as well, that people weren't really understanding the visual information. So, for example, our buttons were square originally, and they didn't understand that that was a button, so we had to make them into circles and just other things like that. Really, it's it's a language to people, and it has to be quite simple and logical for people to understand it.
Yeah, because that sounds to me like the biggest design challenge that you've had to come across.
Yeah, it's definitely been the thing we keep coming back to try and make sure it works. And if there's any new elements we've added to the game, we're suddenly confronted with like a new problem of like, oh, this is something new we have to do in the UI. How can we make it conform to some of the sort of design languages that we've already got in there? So now we have squares in there, but they tend to be more kind of like scroll bars. And because they're square, we can have more imagery than text. That's another thing. Like we want to localize the game to as many countries as possible. So the less text, the better for us. And so when you're choosing your eyes and your mouths and your noses, we want to have like that visual iconography there. So it's just a pair of eyes, just a mouth, and hopefully, no matter what language you speak, you can kind of understand that's what section it's going to take you to.
That's really cool. Using symbolism as a way of describing language rather than written word is definitely the best way about going about making it universal. So you've obviously spent a lot of time figuring out the UI. How have you gone about marketing the game?
Well, at the moment we're in the process of because we're part of the Green Shoot scheme, they've taken us to Insomnia. We've also got a possibility of showing the game at the next Res. We have to submit a trailer, and then they're going to judge whether or not they feel that it's suitable for the Microsoft stands. And we've shown the game at EGX. We went to Games Connection in Paris to try and get a publishing deal. So that was really useful to make contacts and to also get our game in front of sort of like big publishers to get their feedback about the game. And all these shows has been brilliant to see the public playing the game and actually see them enjoying something that we've created. That's been the most rewarding thing, really.
Gives us like that extra push to carry on, doesn't it? It's like you get a renewed energy, and
also it makes us realise how broken the game is as well. So it's been a real learning experience for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
Like that. Sorry, Pete's just disappeared.
Yeah, he's having problems, I think.
Like that.
Oh, I think he's coming back.
Hey guys, back again.
There we go.
Technical difficulties for the win. Jeez.
So with you guys going to the shows and obviously enjoying all that, you were just mentioning like how you were enjoying like the feedback and all. Was there anything there that you were like, anything you saw at the shows that were catching your eyes that were interesting?
But do you mean other games or?
Yeah, like other games that you were like you would have seen at the shows. Was anything like catching your eyes that like other people might not be aware of right now?
Well, people probably know about Terror Attack, but I had a look at that, and that was a really interesting sort of game. We were speaking to some of the developers as well. I'm just trying to think what other games were there that were of interest.
It's quite a number. I can't remember what it was called now, but when we went to Play Expo in Manchester, there's this horse riding game, and they had this like chair that you could sit on, and it was like a VR thing. So you put the headset on, you sat on this horse riding mechanical chair, and it basically just vibrated under you and made you feel like you were horse riding.
So wait, was this? Is the horse riding chair like a periphery? Something I can buy with my with my headset?
It's a game peripheral. I think it's for something, some exercise thing maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I think they just used it for their game. But I thought that was quite fun and unique.
The thing was, it wasn't even synced up, but it actually felt like it was synced up to the VR headset while you were on it.
So was it like you were basically having some sort of VR experience while sitting on a washing machine?
Yeah, that's probably as close as you're going to get without buying.
Yeah.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah. Ted, who's the llama guy?
Who?
The llama guy. He's a developer in Wales.
Oh, yeah.
Llamasoft, is it?
Yeah.
Jeff Minter. Yeah, Jeff Minter. So we try his game in. It's probably not his latest game, to be fair. It was a while ago that we saw him. It was like a weird, trippy VR experience where it was kind of like an old school shooter, like Space Invaders-ish, but with all this weird, trippy, psychedelic stuff happening in your peripheral vision and all around you. So it was just trying to put you off. So that was pretty cool, a bit weird. And
I didn't get to play that.
did you not see it?
No.
I think it was on the same row as the horse riding thing.
I'm disappointed now.
Yeah.
I just want to go on the horse riding thing now, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, though it was like horse riding simulator 8 or something. 'Cause it was like the 8th or something in the series. It was like
The
really
8th?
fun. So it's like I was like, wow, okay, I've never even heard of this thing. But yeah, if you can think of a niche, there's probably a game for it.
how about Pigeon Dating Simulator?
Yep.
I know there is some sort of bird dating simulator out there, but I don't know what it's called.
Hatterful boyfriend. It's the bitch simulator.
What?
Yes, you're a bit behind the times there, Pete.
Yeah.
Moved on. I found one the other week where you date fridges. Yeah.
Is that an actual thing, a fridge dating?
Yeah, it's in development right now. I'm trying to get him on the show. It's going to be awesome.
Oh my god. Maybe you can change down, the dial and make it colder or hotter, or. And what if I put different objects in the fridge? Does that affect the fridge's pleasure?
I don't know. I'm going to find out though.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
The ultimate date is with like a Smeg fridge or something.
What if I get like a cheap one from Asda and it's like hardly working and
Yeah.
you
It's
know?
a slutty fridge.
And does the fridge get jealous if I look at other fridges? Anyway, guys, back on topic. You're releasing your beta hopefully today, if not very soon. What will it be out on?
Initially Android, but then we're hoping within a few days iOS, and then
Windows.
Windows as soon as possible after that.
And how long is the beta going to be available?
How long?
Yeah.
No, at least a couple of weeks.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Awesome. Do people need to get like a beta code off you guys, or can anyone download it?
If you go onto our Facebook page or onto our Twitter, we've got some links pinned on there, and you can just sign up with your Google, your Windows, or your Apple. I was going to say iOS email, and then we'll send you out a link where you can actually download it to your phone.
That's really cool. Is there any any particular devices that isn't going to work on, or is it literally any Android device?
Anything at the moment. If we find that something doesn't work, then we're going to try and fix it. But obviously, if you've got like a ridiculously old phone, then we probably won't be fixing it for that. But it probably won't even run it.
What would you say is your favourite element of the beta? Like, the favourite perk of the creatures or your favourite arena?
I really enjoy the customization side of things. I mean, like we've seen people sit while we've been at shows, and they've been sat there for like a good half an hour, and like part of us is like, we're happy to see it. Then part of us is like, oh, come on, hurry up! There's other people waiting. Yeah, it's really nice to see people just spend their time enjoying creating their own creatures. Really, for me anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I guess designing the game, I thought, the battling will be like the main focus for me. But actually, I really enjoy just trying to make like really cute or funny-looking creatures. Or not to say the battling isn't good. I like it.
The fact that
really fun, and
the fact that it's real time as well makes a big difference, because so many of these games that you play on mobile now, they're basically turn based, and for me that's not really challenging. You're just pressing a button after a button. It might appeal to some people, but the whole touch screen and the battling, it's actually quite a challenging thing to be able to do all of the things, and you feel more immersed in the game because of the real time and the touch screen.
Definitely, I can't think of any other game that does exactly what Creature Battle Labs is going to do, and certainly not to that level of customization.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing we noticed, that there are sort of games out there on mobile that do customizing, and then there's like dress up games which just focus on customizing. But even with those, you are presented with a list of 10 heads that you can choose from and 5 bodies, that kind of thing. Whereas, like I say, it's with us, it's, I like this body shape of the creature, why don't I blend it with that one and make something completely new? So it's going to be really interesting to see what people make with the creatures.
Are people going to be able to, like, say they download the beta and play the game sort of thing, create their characters? When the final version comes out, will there be any way of them kind of getting that character back, if you know what I mean? Like saving the data, or will they just have to recreate it?
Ted, this is a question for you.
Hopefully you'll still be on their device.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm going to personally make myself a fridge. It's called Spilt Milk. Massive mouth, small fridge compartment, small milk compartment, maybe some eggs.
And take it on some dates.
Exactly. Well, it's going to go on a few dates with the other monsters, and we'll see how it fares. So, what's the future for Creature Battle Labs then? What's the kind of plan going ahead for the rest of 2016?
I guess
we're going to be doing like 3 months of updates after release, so
Yeah.
we've got quite a few sort of like creature set attachments that we've got plans. We want to try and add the career mode as an update. We're going to be adding in extra arenas. We'd like to get real-time multiplayer in.
Yeah.
We've got so many ideas, we could take it in so many different directions.
I think those are the sort of really
Main
solidified ones that, hopefully if things go well, we can sort of do those within the year. But there's there's like all different. We've got a whole list on our sort of Trello board, which is like our sort of project management thing.
Like sumo and
Like modes where you try and knock them out of the arena rather than just beating them, with their health bar.
Also,
Tag team.
the face of our game really at the moment that is basically Professor Helix. So he's sort of like the person who introduces you to the lab, and he's sort of the overseer. One of our ideas, while full release, is to possibly get him 3D printed and run a competition for people to try and win a 3D print of the character. And another idea, we've been speaking to some companies as well that do 3D printing, and they've got a plug-in for Unity where people can actually create things and send them a bit of code, and then they can have their own creatures 3D printed. So that's something that we also thought about as well, but that's in the far future if things do go well.
does sound awesome, to be fair. I'd love to have my own little 3D printed monster.
Yeah, I think the possibilities of that are just awesome. Like, I've made this awesome creature. I'm going to get it printed out in a few days' time. I've got a real thing that I created in the game sent to me in the post. And there's a key ring or whatever you want. But yeah, just that,
Quite exciting.
yeah, it appeals to me anyway. I'd want to do it.
Definitely. As someone who collects this little, like, what's the called PopCap, like the kind of little figures, I can imagine it'd be really cool having your own little selection of, recreated plastic monsters that you personally have customized.
Yeah, definitely.
And so where can people find you then? Where can everyone kind of get in touch and also download the beta?
We've got a website which is creaturebattlelab.com, and we've also got a Dojo website which is dojo-arcade.com. We've also got a Facebook page for Creature Battle Lab and also for Dojo, and the same for, we have a Twitter feed as well.
We just use a Dojo, but isn't it just at Dojo Arcade?
Yeah, at Dojo Arcade.
Awesome stuff. Any extra questions?
No, got everything. Well, it's just great to catch up with you guys. It's been too long since we last hung out, so maybe probably in the next few months we'll be able to sort something out in which I can catch you guys in real life and meet up
definitely
and catch up.
Yeah, possibly maybe meet up one of the Cardiff sort of game dev meets or something.
Possibly.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I could definitely come down and meet you guys for that, actually, because it'd be really cool to see the game, because I saw it like when it was pretty much being fought up, like almost 2 years ago now. I'm really intrigued to see how it's developed. That's why I can't wait to play the base. So.
We went to the Bristol meetup once, didn't we, Phil?
Yeah,
that was pretty
a
cool.
couple of months ago,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
so we want to start going to that a bit more as well.
Community with games.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll make friends.
Exactly. That's what the game industry's all about. Making friends and making games.
Yeah.
Yep.
And excessive amounts of alcohol.
Going to San Francisco and getting wasted for a week.
Hashtag not GDC.
Yep. Hashtag not GDC. We work. Damn it. Dojo Arcade have got the right idea. They're working during the GDC.
Yeah, hopefully next year we'll be drinking.
Guys, you probably do deserve it. You've been working solid for almost 2 years straight, and well, ever since I knew you in university, you guys have been pretty much hard grafting. So you definitely do deserve a bit of a win here. So hopefully, Creature Battle Labs will give you that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I think we're all keeping our fingers crossed.
Well, I've said it once, and I'll say it again. It's a fantastic concept.
Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing this beta. I'll be probably picking it up on the PC though, just for ease.
I'll get mine on the Samsung tab.
Anyway, I think we can close this thing down around about now, if everybody doesn't mind.
No.
I'm pretty sure you guys got to get back to making that beta of yours.
Oh yeah, it needs to come out, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Don't want to be responsible for delaying a game.
Yeah, very true.
Anyway, we've been Huge Update at Huge Update on Twitter. You can find our website at www.hugeupdate.squarespace.com. You can also find us at iTunes under Huge Update. I've been Alistair McInnes with my co-host Peter Marsh. Say goodbye.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
And our guests have been Dojo Arcade, talking about their upcoming game in beta, Creature Battle Labs. And they're also going to say goodbye now. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Everybody say goodbye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.